Welcome, everybody, to Dinging Corners, a baseball podcast powered by Slab Stocks. I'm your host, Nate, and today we are going to talk about Jasson Dominguez's first Bowman edition cards. Many of you will have followed these cards for the last couple weeks since they came out, and his prices are going crazy. Last base sale May 7th went for $174.30, and then his Sky Blue, which is his non-numbered parallel, is going May 5th, last sale, $633.50. So you will have all noticed that Jasson Dominguez prices, they are absurd. $174 for his first Bowman card, but not his first Bowman card, right? People are waiting for Bowman baseball to come out. That's the product that everybody wants. That's the cards that they're going to want to get their hands on. And so we're going to try to figure out what's going to happen with these Jasson Dominguez prices in the long run when that comes out. What is going to happen to these things? So there's a few things we can look at right away. We're going to cover a couple different things, a couple different theories, a couple different products that we can look at to try to gauge interest in this Jasson Dominguez card. And so we're going to just jump right into it today, and we're going to look first at Wander Franco. So Wander Franco, obviously shortstop for the Rays, number one prospect in baseball, the real deal. Going to be probably the best player in baseball in a couple of years. Mike Trout's around. Second best player in baseball in a couple of years. He's the real deal. Now, Wander Franco has Bowman first edition cards that came out in this, but they are not his first Bowman card because obviously his first Bowman card came out in April of last year in Bowman baseball. So Wander Franco base for this Bowman first edition are around $12. You can find them a little cheaper. You can find them a little more expensive, but on average, around $12. Buy it now. And his Sky Blue, the last one sold on auction May 5th for $41.95. So $42 rounded up. Why that's interesting is because Bowman Chrome first, his base, May 7th, which is today. Today is Thursday, May 7th. A lot of two sold for $41.05. So you're looking at $20.50 a pop on each of those. $20.50 a pop on each of those. And then paper base, this last one sold May 3rd for a lot of two for $16. So, and you're looking at $8 pop for paper base for Wander Franco. Why that's interesting is because you can compare the base price. I brought up the Sky Blue price just so you could compare the $42 to the $633 for Jasson Dominguez, but it doesn't really have any bearing on our conversation here. We're really just looking at the base price here, and that's $12 for a first edition and $20.50 for his Bowman first from Bowman Baseball. Now, that's an $8 difference. The Bowman Baseball one is obviously much more in demand, but his paper base, which is a decently popular product, nobody really likes paper, but when it comes to guys like Wander Franco, you take what you can get. And so $8 for a paper base is a really, really, really good price. And we're looking at about $4 more for this first edition base than we are for the paper base. So that's a pretty good deal. If you're selling, it being more expensive than the paper base. I did not expect that, not from a guy that had his second year card, and his third card overall, maybe even fourth. So what I'm trying to get to here is that Wander Franco, it's not the same situation because obviously Wander Franco's Bowman baseball was out already, and then first edition came out. Jasson Dominguez, his first edition came out, and then his quote-unquote first card will come out. Now, while it's not similar, we can still get a little bit of clue from this in that it's clear that the base is more popular in the long run from Bowman baseball. So I would expect Jasson Dominguez base from first edition to go down a little bit. People aren't just clamoring to get the first edition Wander Francos. But again, not the same situation. But I would expect it to go down a little bit just based on this Wander Franco. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm looking at it the wrong way. But that's just me. $170 rounded up to $175 for a base. I would expect it to go down maybe just a little bit, but I'm not expecting the bottom to drop out like everyone else is saying. You go on Instagram, you go on blow up forums, people are just expecting the bottoms to drop out of these things. I don't think I see that happening. I don't see that happening, and here is why. My second example, and that is Topps 2020 project. People are just not getting into the new way of cards. There's a lot of card collectors out there. Maybe you're one yourself. I was one for a while, that just have a hard time gauging the new community, right? So we have a brand new community here. Your old ways of thinking about cards are gone. You probably don't want to hear that. You're probably upset that that's the case, but they're gone. They're gone. Anything you thought last year is not relevant this year. You probably never thought Prism basketball boxes would go for $800 or $700, whatever they're at. Here we are. You probably didn't even think about Topps 2020 project, because who could have? But Topps 2020 project is obviously the 20 artists making 20 different cards, and they're selling them every day, $20 a pop. However many are ordered is the print run, right? I'm sure if you're listening to this, you probably all know about Topps 2020 project. So we won't get too much into what it is, but I do want to talk about it because if you're paying attention to the Topps 2020 project, you'll notice that the Mike Trout by Ermsey, if I'm saying that correctly, is at $500 a pop, and the print run is 2,911 cards. The Ken Griffey Jr. by King Saladin, May 6th, his last sale went for $309, and that's a print run of 2,504. There's an Ichiro by JK5. On May 6th, that went for $90.95, print run of 1,798. And then the Ichiro by Ermsey again, May 6th, $183.25, print run of 1,972. Now, why am I bringing up Topps 2020 project in correlation with Jason Dominguez Bowman First Edition? Is just to show you how the market is changing. A lot of people are like, why would you pay $500 for a Mike Trout by Ermsey? That makes no sense. Just buy the real thing for a couple more $100 instead of the artist's rendition. And here is the reason that I can see as to why people are buying this. There's a lot of people coming from different cultures, right? Sports is the great equalizer. It's the great connector. You can be an accountant. You can be a doctor. You can be a dentist. You can be a garbage man. You can be a post worker. You can work at Home Depot. You can work in Lowe's. You can work at McDonald's. And yet you can all talk about sports, right? It doesn't matter if the doctor went to school for 7 years and you're a 16-year-old working at McDonald's. I'm moving my hands, but it's off screen, so you can't see it anyways. But you could be a doctor who went to school for 7 years and has been practicing for 20, and you're 55 years old, and you can be a 16-year-old McDonald's worker. But once you get talking about sports, it doesn't matter how much more educated the doctor is than you. People love talking about sports. They don't care your education level. They don't care where you went to college. They don't care how successful you've been in life. It's just sports, right? People love it. And in the same way, we have people that come from all different walks of life. And that is true with this Topps 2020 project. And what they're buying is that you get people from the art world, and you get people from the music world, and you get people from, other collecting hobbies. And so you get all these people together, and they're going to have different ideas on what they want to invest in. It's not just the same old guys that constantly bought just, we got to buy Prism basketball, and we got to buy Topps rookies, and we got to buy this, and we got to buy that. Well, now you have a bunch of new people in, and these artists and these shoe guys that love shoes. Panini did it first with the shoe signature series cards. Those were a really big hit. And you get the shoe guys in there that are going to want those. Well, you get people that are into cards now that are artists, and they look at a guy like Ermsey, who has 100,000 followers on Instagram, and they're going to say, oh, I want one of every single card he makes here. This is art. This isn't cards. This isn't, an investment. It is art, and they want it. And so when you look at it that way, all of a sudden it becomes easier to see why somebody's willing to pay $500. It's not about getting the Topps the Mike Trout Topps Update rookie for a couple more $100. It's about getting this piece of art that they really like because they're both into cards and they're both into art. Along with that, Ken Griffey Jr., $309. King Saladin, 99,000 followers on Instagram, 98,800. We rounded it up a little bit. He has 99,000 followers on Instagram. He's got a huge following. So there's a huge price. And to show you what I mean, Ichiro by JK5, this, I had his name up here. I've forgotten it already. JK5 has 6,972 followers on Instagram. His Ichiro, with a print run of 1,798, sells for $90.95. So a tiny print run, $90.95. The Ichiro by Ermsey, a slightly larger print run of 1,972, so that's about 200 more cards printed than JK5's, and yet his goes for $183.25. So his more than double the price. And I would imagine that's because we have Ermsey with 100,000 followers and a very popular artist compared to JK5, who has 6,000 followers and might not be as popular of an artist. So people are looking to get their hands on stuff they like. They're looking to get their hands on things they're passionate about, and a lot of people are passionate about art. A lot of people. So you're looking at Topps 2020 project and you're saying, man, this $500 is absurd. That money's going to just disappear. I don't think so. I think a lot of people are looking at it archaically, and they're looking at cards and they're saying, well, this is how it was in 2016. This is how it was in 2017. This is how it was in 2018. So this is how it's going to be 2019, 2020, 2021, 2022, all the way up to 20 forever, right? They don't think that prices are ever going to change or trends are ever going to change because it's how it was. Well, trends are changing right in front of your face. And it's absurd. Now, of course, this Mike Trout by Ermsey is like the first one produced. The Mike Trouts after that point, not so much. But you're looking at the Ichiro, and it's a higher price because of the artist, probably. So you got to be cognizant of the fact that trends are changing. With Jason Dominguez and these prices, people think that the prices are going to drop, but trends are changing. They're changing right in front of our very eyes. And either you realize them, you try to find the next one, and you do well, or you get left behind in the dust because you have old thoughts and old ways of doing things, and that's just not what's going to happen. I know a lot of people are upset. There's people that just want the hobby to remain a hobby, and they don't want the hobby to change, and they wanted the hobby to be like it was in 2008 or 2009, or pick a year, and that's the way they want the hobby. Unfortunately, there's just no going back. If you think this is bad now, what happens when Topps collaborates? They have the Gary V autos, and they'll have like Allen Ginter autos where they get like Post Malone and stuff. But what happens when they go one step further and collaborate with, Jay-Z or Beyonce or Taylor Swift, or I don't care who, pick your favorite artist, Chris Martin from Coldplay, or it doesn't matter. What happens when they go one step further and get ads and stuff with Post Malone opening cards and showing off cards and bringing them and going to conventions and this and that and making conventions way cooler than they are now? And what happens then? All of a sudden they got Post Malone and not Gary V, the Gary V dual autos. What if they do Jay-Z and Russell Westbrook dual autos? How much are those going to go for? And people will be like, well, this is insane. Who knows? Stuff is changing, and you think this Top 2020 project is insane. You think this Bowman First Edition is insane. It's just going to get more insane as cards get more mainstream. And if you're looking at cards like they were 5 years ago, you're going to get left in the dust. You got to adapt. You got to find the next trend. And these are the next trends. People like art. People like different things. People like new things. Now, some of this might just be because it's new and it's in quarantine. We'll find out in a few months when quarantine ends what happens to this stuff because it's just new. But the point still stands is that the old ways of looking at cards are gone. You probably don't want to hear it, but they're gone. And we're going to have to adapt, all of us, to what people are looking at. And $500 Mike Trouts by Ermsey, that's just what's going to happen. I just don't think that the bottom is going to fall out on these things, because you got people that are very interested in cards, and you got people that are very interested in art, and they're joining up. So that's my second point. My third point on this Jason Dominguez, what is going on with these prices wheel, is that this is not the first time that first editions have come out. In 2003, Topps, now they did this for football, baseball, and basketball, but Topps released first edition cards. And so LeBron James has, and it's its very own set. Basketball released Topps first editions in 03, 04, 05, and 07. There are no parallels. It's just base cards, no refractors, no golds, no black borders, none of that. And so they released this first edition, and LeBron James has rookie first edition cards. What's ridiculous is that the PSA 10, April 27th, his PSA 10 of the Topps first edition sold for $4,250. His regular base PSA 10, May 5th, sold for $2,100. Why that's ridiculous, and why it's ridiculous that it's only double the price, is because the Topps first edition has a population report of 248 with a PSA 10 report of 90. There's 90 PSA 10 Topps first editions. The regular base has 4,832, and their PSA 10 has 1,639. So it's double the price, but the print run is almost 20 times less, or the PSA 10 population is almost 20 times less. And then PSA 9s for both of them, just for an example here. May 3rd, PSA 9 first edition, $1,777. Buy it now. Population report of 102. LeBron James Topps base rookie, PSA 9, May 4th, $643. Population report, 1,985. So going off of that, the PSA 9 is significantly lower. It's 3 times lower than the PSA 9. Or the base is 3 times lower than the first edition base, but the PSA 10 is only half the price of the PSA 10 first edition base. So it's looking like, if we're learning anything from this, is that LeBron James Topps first edition is an insane value. There's only 90 PSA 10s, and it's only double the price of the regular base, even though there's 1,639 of those to 90 of the first edition. Now, why does this matter? Why does this first edition matter? Obviously, I'm using LeBron James. He's the cream of the crop. He's the second best basketball player of all time. So why did I use him? Just to point out that there is some historical evidence for first edition cards, and that prices can be higher than the regular cards. First edition, I believe, came out first. I couldn't really get any info on it. If it didn't come out first, my bad. But you can see that it is more expensive, and in the long run. So if we're looking at these Jason Dominguez, and it is truly short printed, we don't know the print run on these. It might be just as much as Bowman baseball. I doubt it. But if you can get your hands on some and just hold on to it, I think the prices might drop right now in the near term from $174 once Bowman baseball comes out. But in the long term, in the very long term, if Jason Dominguez becomes what we think he can become, if you look at LeBron James and his double the price of his regular rookie, then you're looking at a pretty stinking good value. So what I would do with Jason Dominguez is this. Yes, the prices seem absurd. They do. But look at what we covered. Market's changing. Wander Franco prices are still pretty big, despite it not being his first card, and this is technically his first card. And you're looking at historical data with LeBron James Topps first edition, and it's double the price of his rookie. We don't know the print count on these Jason Dominguez's, right? We don't know. But we do know that trends are changing, people's preferences are changing, and right now it's $175 for a base Jason Dominguez. And while I think it might drop a little bit once Bowman baseball comes out, I really do think that long term, this might be one of the cards to have. I really do. I didn't think I would say that before researching this stuff, but looking at all the facts that I've got in front of me, I'm thinking that it might be the card to have here. So $175, I don't know if I'd pay that right now. I would wait for a Bowman baseball to come out and for those Jason Dominguez's to flood the market and for us to get a little bit more information on how many Bowman first editions are out there. You know, if they printed tens of thousands of them, then, you know, probably not. But if it's only like 4,000 or 5,000 of these cards, then who knows? It's going to be a great deal. So wait a little bit. And then if you still want some Jason Dominguez, come back and try to buy them after Bowman Baseball comes out. I imagine they will drop a little bit. So thank you all for listening to this. I hope this covered a little bit of Jason Dominguez's market a little bit better. Hope you get a little bit more information from this. And I will talk to you guys again next podcast.